to another Anime Kingdom review. See my title below? Yes, this is on episode 1 of Shokugeki no Soma Season 3. Yes, finally, Shokugeki no Soma Season 3 is here. I have been waiting so long for the third season to come out. When it was first announced that there would be a third season, I literally just been counting the days until finally here it is. So yes, I know I want to state this first before I start talking about everything, but I do realize that this is several days late. I am sorry about that. Just I've been pretty damn busy this week, but finally did find the time to go ahead and watch this episode. And honestly, what can I say? I've been reviewing, Shokugeki no Soma. I reviewed the season 1, I reviewed season 2, and I'm even now currently still reviewing the manga as it's still ongoing as of this moment. And honestly, I just been waiting for this third season to come out. I love season 1, I love season 2, and it's one thing reading the manga. I always love reading the manga. There's nothing wrong with that. But when it does finally get anime, just having it in animation form, having the music, the voice acting, it's just a whole nother level. So when it is done right, that's when an anime is just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And honestly, so far with this first episode, they did a really good job at adapting everything pretty damn well. So first thing I want to talk about is something I was kind of wondering how it was going to be, considering the fact that, season 2 only had like 12 to 13 episodes. I can't remember for sure if it was just 12 or if it was 13. But honestly, even though I still think that they adapted it pretty damn well, and where they did end was a good point for it to end at, since they wanted to have this new arc be part of the third season, and it does make sense to have this arc separate from the last arc. But I feel that, like, if they had a 24 episode season, they could have done a lot better, or at least more than just how much they had, because there were times when I felt that it could have done so much better with, adapting a certain scene, not having to rush or take out certain things. But fortunately, we don't have to worry about that for this season, because from what I've seen, it's not a for sure thing yet. So don't go on and saying, I told you that this is really happening. But I've been seeing that people have been saying. So if there is a confirmation somewhere that I don't know of, feel free to comment below that. But I've been seeing people have been saying a lot that there's going to be 24 episodes for this season. So if so, that's going to be awesome. Thank you for that, because honestly, this arc especially is going to need that 24 episode season. This arc, along with the arc that's going to come after, will need a much bigger season than just 12 to 13 episodes. And that's kind of how I feel with any anime. I feel that 12 episode seasons are just not enough. They could do a really good job with it, but it's always, if there's 24 episodes, it's always going to be better in my opinion most of the time. But yeah, so that's a good thing. If that is true, that's going to be awesome, because, like I said before, they don't have to really rush things. They don't have to cut things out and everything. And that's where I'm going to lead to the next part. If you guys were wondering and you're watching this episode and you're like, what's going on? How come it seems like they kind of rushed certain things with Elite 10 and cut certain things out, as they only had certain things with like Kuga and some things with Tsukasa and everything being shown in that? Well, that's actually because for some reason, I'm not too sure why, but there is an OVA that you have to go check out. I'm being serious right now. If you want to watch the rest of the season, I recommend watching that OVA, because for some reason, I'm not too sure that it was the subs took long to come out, but it came out around the same time this episode came out, I think. But I definitely recommend going and watching that episode, because that is the full intro episode of all the Elite 10. If you want to know their personalities, their who they are and how they act and everything, and kind of seeing a lot more depth of how Soma ends up pretty much wanting to go up against Kuga, then I definitely recommend you going to watch that. And this is another thing that I am so happy with them showing, the finally having this part of the arc, because honestly, I love Erina, if you've watched my reviews, she's like one of my favorite characters on the show, and I love her and ship her so hard with Soma. And honestly, it was really awesome to see that much of her and him, like those moments that they had in this episode. It was super adorable. But my favorite, I would say, best girl in the show is definitely Rindo. If you haven't met her yet, she's the redheaded girl. Actually, you did see her in this episode at the very end as well. She has like a toothy kind, like you can see her tooth, not toothy, I don't know why, it's kind of like a cat kind of thing. And that is Rindo. She is literally the best girl. I love her personality, I love her character, and be able to finally see her, actually colored and animated and everything, and hearing her voice, honestly, perfect. I cannot wait to see more of her. And I'm pretty sure if you've talked to people who have read the manga, there's gonna be a lot of hype around her, because a lot of people like her, and myself included. So I cannot wait to see more of her character being shown in the rest of this anime. But of course, that does correlate to what I'm going to talk about next, which is of course Erina. As you heard, you may have not known actually, because I actually didn't know until I ended up looking it up, and I was like, holy shit, I did not know that. But it turns out that the voice actor in this episode is not the same voice actor that we've been hearing in season 1 and season 2. It turns out the voice actor of Erina in season 1 and season 2 ended up having to go on a hiatus because of health issues. I'm not too sure exactly what kind of health issues, but unfortunately that means that they needed to get another, voice actor for Erina. But I was actually pleasantly surprised. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, if I didn't, okay, I'll say I can tell the difference, but if I wasn't told straight up that it is a different person, I might have just thought maybe she, I don't know, changed a little bit with her voice, because it's actually that close. You can barely tell the difference, honestly, and that's a big accomplishment, because like that would have been something that I really would have hated, because there are times like that where you end up having, unfortunately, not being able to get the same voice actor for reasons unknown. Obviously, there's several reasons that it could go, but luckily they were able to find someone and have that person pretty much nail, Erina's voice spot on practically, that I didn't even notice until after I ended up reading, and I was like, oh wait, yeah, there is a sort of difference. I can tell now. But hey, if you can pretty much, if without me even, being able to fully tell, that's an awesome job. So thank you for that, because if it wasn't, that would have pissed me off a lot, honestly. But other than her voice actress, another thing, like I was saying as well, is that something I love about when an anime is being adapted from a manga, besides the music, which was awesome as well in this, the opening was pretty damn badass. It definitely did a good job at relaying the emotions and the feelings of what's going to be coming in the the whole season and everything. I gotta say that it's still not my favorite opening of Shokugeki no Soma. I like the other ones better, but it's probably gonna grow on me. It's probably gonna have to take a while for me to really get really enjoy it. But I did think it was really well done, and it does definitely have a good reason for it to be with this opening. The ending was also nice as well. But yeah, besides of course I'm going on a whole nother thing, but besides of course music, besides of course the soundtrack and everything, another big thing is the voice acting. You don't hear that obviously when you're reading the manga, so when they do adapt the anime from the manga, it's a big hurdle for them to have to find someone that matches what people would think when they ended up reading the manga and everything. And honestly, so far with every single character of the Elite 10, it's pretty spot on, honestly. Rindo's was spot on, Tsukasa was spot on, Kuga was definitely spot on. I was wondering how his character would be, because I do like his character. He's pretty funny to watch, I'm not gonna lie. And they had a really good choice in the voice actor for him. It matched exactly how I would have thought if there was voice acting with the manga as well when I'm reading it, so good job on that. But yeah, overall, I'm kind of just like going off on every other little thing. How did I feel about the episode? Let's talk about that first off. Did I feel it was a good episode? Yes, it adapted really well from what we saw in the manga. It did really good job of giving us an introduction episode. Sorry, not world of coming back into the world of Shokugeki no Soma, giving us a brief rundown of all the characters. Again, giving us a brief rundown of the whole, what's going to be happening with this new arc, which is the Moon Festival, giving us, what's, the different places that there are there. And then, of course, showing of Soma being crazy as usual and challenging the 8th seat to, he wants, the only way for him to be able to challenge him to a Shokugeki is, of course, to beat him in some other thing, which is obviously he turns out he wants to go up against him in the whole, Moon Festival, which is obviously a crazy thing considering the fact that we saw in this episode. Yeah, Kuga's Club, I don't know if you want to go against that, Soma. It was pretty damn crazy how they were like pretty much spot on. It was like a well-oiled machine practically. It's like they weren't humans. Those were cyborgs, honestly. But there were some brief moments in this episode as well that like when they were showing that the animation quality did drop, but nonetheless the animation was on point as well in this episode, and I definitely did enjoy everything that was shown, showing all the characters again, and like I said, giving us a brief rundown and introduction to what's going to be happening in the rest of this arc, which is of course the Moon Festival arc. Soma, of course, getting himself into some crazy shit without really realizing that, yes, once again, he can be expelled. It seems to be like, what can, when the writer, wrote this Shokugeki no Soma, he had to think like, what can really make this like a lot more, scary for Soma? And obviously the biggest thing would be to be expelled. So that's why we see it so often. But nonetheless, it doesn't change the fact that it's still a pretty crazy thing. And to have the chance of him being expelled because of this, if he doesn't make enough money, and he's already doing something super crazy by going up against the 8C and his well-oiled robot army machine in Chinese, which is, his specialty and everything. I don't know. It's probably going to be pretty crazy. I'm definitely excited to see how this season will go. I'm pretty sure that if you enjoyed the first season and if you enjoyed the second season, you are definitely going to enjoy this season, because I have a feeling from how I remember, reading the manga and everything, that this arc and the next arc is definitely going to be way better than what you've seen in season 1 and season 2. And I'm not saying they're bad. I love season 1 and I love season 2, but that's just how good I think season 3 is going to be. But yeah, that's all I gotta say, guys. Hope you enjoyed this Anime Kingdom review. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. If there's anything missed and you want to talk about, comment below as well. And if you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like. If you haven't already, feel free to subscribe for more content. And as always, guys, I want to hear how you guys thought. What did you guys think about the episode? Good, bad? Did you like the opening? Did you not like the opening? Did you think this was a good episode? Manga readers, I want to hear your guys' thoughts as well as, anime watchers only. Everyone, feel free to comment below your thoughts. It's always interesting to see how everyone else feels as well. But yeah, that's all I gotta say, guys. Until next time, see ya.